When you mention Studio Ghibli, one character stands out above all others. That is, of course, Totoro. The fluffy troll from My Neighbor Totoro has become not only an anime icon, but the mascot for Studio Ghibli itself. From cameos in South Park and Toy Story 3, to references in Gintama and His and Her Circumstances, Totoro has made a major impact on animation. Both animators and animation lovers have fallen in love with this movie and this character. But the story of Totoro is not a happy one. In fact, it has a lot of challenges that occurred throughout the production of this movie. And coming from Japan to the United States added even more challenges. From 1988, this is My Neighbor Totoro. Despite the modern popularity of My Neighbor Totoro, there were a lot of troubles that occurred during the production of this anime. For starters, this was the first time that Miyazaki worked with Kazuo Oga, the man who would become the art designer of almost every Ghibli film after this. But their initial work together was not particularly good. Miyazaki continuously criticized Oga, and even after seeing the initial drafts of background design said, "Is that the best you can do?" This led to Oga having to improve his art style, which gave Ghibli that very detail-oriented look, where almost every leaf of grass seems to be detailed. Mainly because Miyazaki was such a stickler for details on this movie. But because of the story, and because of the design, and because of how long it was taking, Studio Ghibli did not have a lot of faith that this movie would do well in theaters. So it was released alongside Grave of the Fireflies, the second release of Studio Ghibli, as a double feature. For those who don't know, Grave of the Fireflies is one of the most depressing movies ever made. Totoro is nice and upbeat. God, talk about emotional whiplash. The thought of watching these two back-to-back makes my brain hurt. Despite critical praise, Totoro did not make its money back until 2 years later, when the Totoro toys made their way to toy stores. Think about that. A toy you can still find today at anime cons and toy stores all over the world is what got Totoro its money back, not the theatrical release. What's also interesting is that Totoro's journey to America was filled with a lot of drama. Miyazaki did not want any of his titles brought to the United States because of what happened with Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, because in the US version of that movie, it was horribly butchered and it became Warriors of the Wind. Miyazaki did not want to see any other works of his ever get torn up like that. So the movie would not be released in the US, but a dub would be created for airline flights to Japan that people could watch. That dub was done by Streamline, who is known for doing the dubs to a lot of other popular older anime, such as Akira and, of course, Robotech. In 1993, Lloyd Kaufman of Troma Films supposedly paid $1 million in order to get Totoro to be played in US theaters. Fox would eventually get the home video rights, and they would release the dub-only version of Totoro to US audiences. There was a Japanese track version that was released, but it was very limited and hard to find, and it even went under the alternate title of My Friend Totoro. In 2004, Troma and Fox lost their rights to the series. And in 2006, Disney re-picked up the rights and re-released it with a brand new dub featuring, well, a more star-studded cast than the original. The story follows Mei and Satsuki, two sisters who are moving into the Japan countryside with their father. They move into a new house and think that it's haunted, but are told that it's just the friendly spirits of the area. Eventually, Mei comes across a strange-looking animal and follows it into the forest, where she meets Totoro, the big giant fluffball monster-looking thingy.
Maybe you were dreaming. No, I saw Totoro.
Totoro? You mean a troll, like the one in your storybook?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously? Troll?
Yeah. There's a line in the original Japanese where apparently Totoro comes from her trying to pronounce troll properly. But it's because the R would be an L sound, so it's Tururu would be like how to say troll, I guess. And then the way she says it, she pronounces it with a T, so it's Totoro or Totoro.
I will never look at that furball the same way again ever.
May befriends Totoro, and the story kind of moves on of nice, happy lightheartedness until the family receives a telegram saying that their mother, who is in the hospital, may have gotten worse. May gets scared and runs away, and the story follows Satsuki as she tries to find and reunite with her sister. The ending is heartwarming, and I'm not going to ruin it in any sort of way, but it's definitely worth the watch. And this movie is one of those fun movies you can watch with your whole family. My Neighbor Totoro is unusual in the fact that it has 2 different dubs that were produced.
You weren't worried about me, were you?
I saw him! He was right beside me at the bus stop!
Me too, we saw Kappa's too.
Both dubs have their good parts and their bad parts, but you're more likely to find the Disney dub if you're searching for it. My general thoughts on the dubs is that the streamlined dub has the sisters that I like more.
Does a short time mean tomorrow, Daddy?
Come on, tomorrow means tomorrow!
Maybe not tomorrow, but it's pretty soon.
Because they're played by actual actresses instead of children. It's just my personal opinion. In the Disney version, Dakota and Elle Fanning do a good job as the sisters, but Dakota Fanning can sound a little wooden sometimes.
Let me in to see Totoro. May's lost. It's getting dark. And she's out there all alone. Please let me in to see him. It's an emergency.
And Elle Fanning has that issue that a lot of child actors have, which is just sounding really screechy and annoying.
It can't be helped, May. What if she came home early and it made her even worse?
It's not fair!
But it doesn't ruin the dub by any means, and I've definitely heard worse child actors when it comes to dubbing. When it comes to the voices of the adults, I prefer the Disney version. I think they put a little more energy and a little more effort into it than the streamlined version.
A haunted house?
Mm-hmm. Mommy, do you like haunted houses?
Of course. I'll have to get better soon so I can meet some ghosts.
See that, May? Mm-hmm.
But as I said, both dubs have their ups and downs. If you have a chance to listen to both, give them both a listen, find out which one you like for yourself. But more than likely, when you buy the DVD, you'll probably buy the Disney one, which is still a fairly decent dub, despite my gripe about having children play children. Fun fact, there is a semi-sequel to My Neighbor Totoro called Mei to Koneko Basu, or May and the Kitten Bus. This is a short film that was created featuring May and the child of Cat Bus, Kitten Bus. May gets inside Kitten Bus and has adventures, is the general plot that I've received. Unfortunately, I've never seen this. But there's a good reason. You see, the only way you can actually watch this movie is if you go to the Ghibli Museum in Japan and watch it there, or in a handful of limited charity screenings back when Spirited Away came out. So, yeah, I wasn't involved in either of those, but maybe someday I'll go to the Ghibli Museum and give this a watch. Hopefully, this will get a US release as an extra on one of the DVDs, or as part of a collection of Ghibli shorts. My Neighbor Totoro was a project that was very close to Miyazaki's heart, because Miyazaki grew up with a mother who was diagnosed with tuberculosis. Miyazaki has said that if this movie featured 2 brothers instead of 2 sisters, he may not have been able to complete the project. It's amazing to know that such deep emotions went into the production of this movie, and it's probably why so many people get so much out of it, because there is so much heart put into it. If you have the chance, I highly recommend checking out My Neighbor Totoro. The Disney version's easy to find, and you can get a hold of the Fox version if you look hard enough. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of mecha, fighting, girls with guns, or any other genre of anime. If you're a fan of just good stories and nice, heartwarming tales, if you want something that'll make you smile, if you've enjoyed any of the more recent Ghibli works, give Totoro a watch. Now, if you excuse me, I have some more classic anime to watch. I think I'm gonna check out a, mecha series. Yeah, mecha sounds like a lot of fun.
素敵な冒険始まる隣のトトロトトロトトロトトロ森の中に昔から住んでる隣のトトロトトロトトロトトロ子供の時にだけあなたに訪れる不思議な出会い
May, how am I supposed to open the house up if you're in the way?
Acorns! We found them! And I found a bunch of them right near the back door. And they came from way up. It's true. They came out of the ceiling.
Some squirrels must have dropped them.